I've got some pretty exciting things coming up on the free-to-play. Hello everyone, Bront, CatHerder here. We're having some fun talking Raid Shadow Legends, and we are here on the free-to-Paws account. You may see I've actually renamed it slightly. It is now the CatHerder F2P. It is aka the free-to-Paws account. I've just kind of named it because it's no longer really the Hell Hades free-to-play account. I almost took back my old name for Rise CatHerder, which is what I generally used for the for my account here on the Risen from Kittens clan, which currently Darksword is running kind of in my stead, mostly because in Siege, if I was the leader, I would be in trouble because this account is certainly the weakest account on this particular clan, unfortunately. But it just seems like it's the right thing to do, and it's certainly not going to change the account. I'm certainly still going to be free to play, so I decided to keep the free to play moniker on this stuff, and it is officially the CatHerder F2P account. Mostly because I could not fit Rise in there as well, unfortunately. So I've got all kinds of cool things I'm looking forward to probably over the next month or so, but there's a lot of changes and a lot of really cool things that are going to happen on this account. And one of the things I kind of wanted to talk about is how do you as a new player manage when a bunch of stuff changes on your account? Because sometimes as a free-to-play player, you prepare for things, you get ready for the certain things, and you know what you're going to grab, and you get it, and you're able to deal with it. And sometimes you just get surprised with a bunch of stuff falling in your lap. And in some cases, you get everything falling in your lap at once. And on this account, we're going to get everything falling into my lap all at once. So we're going to talk a little bit about how I'm going to deal with it on this free-to-play account. So first of all, I want to talk about the fact that we're at day 154. Now, day 154 just triggered as of the filming of this particular video, but we are 26 days away from Seal of the Drakes. Seal of the Drakes is going to be an account changer. Now, I know there are some people that say that Seal of the Drakes has been power crept. And while yes, she certainly is not as good as she used to be compared to other newer champions, she still has a very good skill set that works very well in a lot of areas in the game, and she is going to help me in a lot of areas. One of the places, for example, where I actually think she might be better than the current one I'm using right now is I think she would be better in the event dungeon than Itor, or Lotor, or whatever his name is, the free champion from the community days, because she brings a huge passive heal, as well as some additional ability to control crowds, keeping everyone else down just a little bit. And overall, she's just a good champion for that, and I think that will certainly help. That said, Iotor's doing a great job in that dungeon. It's not quite a 100% team, as I showed earlier, but it's been very close to 100%. And with a little more investment in Iotor or a couple of the other champions, I think it will be a 100% team. But again, that's kind of what we're talking about here. In a free-to-play account, you only have so many resources to build so many champions. And that's one of the problems that I'm going to have with Seal of the Drakes. Seal of the Drakes is absolutely amazing, but she's going to take some legendary books to get up to become absolutely amazing, because you do want to actually make sure that you book her for her A3 for that revive, for her A2 to make that stun actually reliable. But honestly, this A1 at plus 40% chance of placing decreased speed and a 50% chance to decrease turn meter by 15%. That is huge, and that actually makes her a very good support for things like Fire Knight Hard 25. So with Seal of the Drakes on the team, I could retire Tagore from that team, and I wouldn't lose out on much. And in fact, the runs might get easier because, of course, she can still hit fairly hard, but the fact that she can add control means I may not have to revive some of my squishier damage dealers. Plus, that also means I might be able to do something such as bring a second Cold Heart or some other way to speed the waves up a little bit, as well as manage the boss a little bit better. Plus, she does bring decreased speed, which is something that's currently missing. And of course, again, this decreased speed and this decreased turn meter, very good against the normal Fire Knight. This being a better stun, icing on the cake. This being better, icing on the cake. And her healing, absolutely amazing. Seal of the Drakes is definitely going to help transform this account. She's certainly going to help me move further on with the barbarian factions as well. In fact, she honestly is a fairly good hard carry as long as I have some other supports built in. So a little bit more damage and a little bit of other debuffing, and still will keep everyone alive long enough to beat the boss. It's not that hard of a formula, but I do need the other supports around to be able to do that. Now, I also have Ishiyama, and here's where sometimes making decisions based off of what you can and can't pull are going to make some sense. I think Ishiyama is probably going to sit in my vault for quite a while, waiting to be pulled, because I have so many other champions that are going to be more impactful than Ishiyama that I'm going to want to pull as soon as possible. And specifically, we're talking about Quintus, who I did a video on previously. Quintus is going to be absolutely amazing and is going to be a game changer on this account. But we also have Mithrala finished. I finished her Wednesday. I only needed 3 fragments left, and I got, 4 chests, each of which had a minimum of 1 fragment. So there was no way I was going to miss Mithrala today. And I expect during this champion chase, I will probably pull both Quintus and Mithrala because they are going to help transform my account. Mithrala is a huge carry for Faction Wars, but she's also very good in Hydra. She's also very good in Hard Fire Knight. She's also very good in so many other places in the game, and all in places that I need more help. She's also a great cleanser, plus she'll be able to resist stuff that I normally cannot deal with resistance on because I just need to build her with some accuracy, and she has some inherent resistance. And honestly, I think she'll even help me in Arena, because I think in Arena, she's going to help prove to be a good resistance champion. She's going to be able to provide some additional petrification, some additional control, and some additional cleansing. That is going to be very, very helpful for me. And meanwhile, I've also got Tholen. So Tholen is going to be amazing for me. He's going to provide a ton of damage. He's going to help my dwarf factions. He's going to be usable in Hydra. I'm about to get 4 very good legendaries and Ishiyama, and they're going to help transform this account. And I'm going to get them all really, really quickly. And it's not like I can take Tholen and tuck him away and maybe decide to pull him off a little bit. I'm going to get him, and I'm going to get him whenever I've got a week left to fuse him. So basically, when I can fuse everybody here, he's going to get fused, and he's going to absolutely help my account. He's going to help my dwarves do damage, and again, he's going to help with Hydra. I think he might help with Chimera. He's going to help with wave clear. He is going to be a beast of a champion. Probably will end up using him in some Arena as well. So he is going to expand my roster greatly. That is 4 highly influential champions, 3 of which I'm going to get this weekend. But there's more to it than that. Okay, looking at the shards here, I've got 72 ancient shards. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get a legendary on those ancient shards. In fact, there's a good chance I will not get a legendary, but I think I'm going to pull them all anyway, because even as a free-to-play where I need to be managing some of my shards, the problem I am going to have with these ancient shards and keeping them is that during a 2x is the best time to get epics, and I need to round out my epics badly. I need epics for Faction Wars. I need epics to support things in Centranos. I need some epics that can actually help me in Hydra. I need some epics that can support me in other areas of the game. I don't have a Stag Knight. I don't have a Duck the Pierced. I don't have a Deacon Armstrong. I don't have a Seeker. There's a bunch of good regular affinity epics that I am missing from this account. So not pulling all of my ancient shards during a 2x ancient event is really doing the account wrong, or at least not pulling maybe 50 of them. To be fair, I don't necessarily have to pull all of them, but I should pull a large majority of them and then maybe keep a little behind. I don't know. The other thing I have going for me is I just actually figured out my mercy on my sacred shards, and I believe I am at 20 into Sacred Shard Mercy. That means that if there's a 1+1 event in the next week or 2 and I get a couple more Sacred Shards, right now I've got 4 of them here, as you can see, but get, if I get a few more of those, I may pull them during a 1+1 legendary event, because I've got a good chance of hitting that 1+ legendary on 4 or 6 sacred shards. We'll see how that goes. That is certainly going to depend a little bit on my sacred shard luck, both from if I'm getting more, and it's probably going to depend on how achievable I think the Tholen 3-star and 5-star souls are. I would like to try to go for the 5-star soul, particularly because I know on this account it will be difficult to go from the 3-star to the 4-star soul on him, but it looks like the event coming up is going to be a 3-star soul easily, and the 5-star soul is going to be the length of the Titan event. So if I can get that 5-star soul, that will make this event much easier. That will make Tholen a much better champion for me, and it's really hard to turn down a 5-star soul on a great champion like Tholen. And yeah, I say great champion. He's going to be a great champion and put a ton of work on this account, where I am heavily using champions like Alice and Cleopteryx. Alice, a very good legendary, Cleopteryx, a mediocre legendary. No other way around it. But I'm using whoever I have that is the best in their slot, because that is how you play a free-to-play account. So I am going to transform this account. And this may sound like I'm just bragging about, oh man, look at all this stuff I'm going to accomplish. Part of the problem with this is I need to figure out how to deal with all of these legendaries. Are you looking for one of the best ways to start a brand new raid account, either just a second one to play a different challenge or something like that, or are you just looking for a brand new one to share raid with your friends or family or anyone else? Or maybe you just thought raid was actually an amazing game and want to give it a try. Well, use my link down below. Get yourself a free legendary Elenarl, an amazing poisoner and burner, brings a ton of damage, brings a ton of utility, will help your account a ton. And once you get out of the tutorial, you'll get her. At level 15 of the account, you will get yourself a Thane, who is an amazing clan boss damage dealer and brings a ton of other debuffs as well as an epic. And finally, at level 30, get yourself a Mausoleum Mage, an amazing supporter who has heals and cleanses and buffs and will bring all kinds of extra cool things to your team. All you need to do is use the link down below. If you're downloading this on an Android or iOS device, just make sure it's a device that has never played Raid before. Download the link and you should be good to go. Just make a new account and you are all set. If you're doing this on PC, all you need to do is you can either uninstall or log out of every account on your Polarium Play, then create a new account online with the link using a brand new email, download and run the installation. It will put your account on your system automatically, and boom, there you go. Finish the tutorial, there's your Elenarl, have fun playing Raid Shadow Legends. It's an awesome way to start. It helps support me, it helps support the community, and it's a great way to get into a great game. So, the first problem first, I only have 4 books, so I'm not going to be able to book every single one of these legendaries. Now, there's a reason for me to possibly book Tholen just because of the events that we have going on. But honestly, I don't think I'm going to necessarily book Tholen just for that. I'm only going to book Tholen if I think he is the best champion for me in the future. I think more likely it might be Mithrala that actually gets those books, because Mithrala booking her will transform her account and make it a huge game changer. And I'm only going to have 4 books, so I'm going to have to be kind of picky with who I book, where I book them, and maybe see what happens. Maybe I get lucky on Mithrala and I get 1 cooldown on both her A2 and her A3, and then maybe I just say, you know what, a 4-turn cooldown is good enough for me for the time being, and I focus somewhere else. But I am going to have to figure out how to deal with booking all of these champions, because it is not guaranteed, and I'm going to have now 4 legendaries within the span of a month that I'm going to need to book, and I'm going to want to book as fully as possible. So it is definitely going to be very slow progress. Plus, again, I might pull another legendary that might be absolutely game-changing, because I've got a ton of shards sitting around ready to go. Epic books are also an example of another resource that is going to certainly strain my account. I am running low on them. I have 9 here, but for example, I need to finish booking Archmage Helmet. I'm kind of just waiting for an event where I can get some rewards from them. He's doing okay, but getting this to a 3-turn cooldown is huge. Getting this to a 100% or at least a 75%, I guess, chance to do that stun is huge, and getting this to a 3-turn cooldown is huge as well, because this is a huge damage dealing move. And I've got him built as a bit of a damage dealer because I don't have a lot of other damage dealers. So getting those champions booked is certainly going to be a struggle. Now, one of the things I can do right now is I can stock up a little bit on chickens. Now, I'm certainly low-ish here on chickens, but I can start building up some 3-star chickens ready to go. I am certainly going to get a bunch of extra chickens when I pull 70 some odd ancients, so I'm going to figure out how to get room for some of those. I am certainly saving up some of these gems up right here, but I do still have to spend a few gems. One of the things I am working on that is also going to help this account is I'm working on getting this Prism Crystal. Now you can see here, I've only got a few hours left to finish the Dungeon Divers event, but having done a little more sorting out of the event dungeon, I can farm the event dungeon at about 95 to 100% success rate. In fact, I think I've only failed once in the past 25 runs since I did some tweaking with it, which is much better than the, 85% rate it was before when I finally got a chance to run it quite a bit. So this is going to help me get those Prism Crystals, and there's a really, really good pool right here. So there's a chance I could get an account changing epic on here. Neldor would be account changing. I've already got a Thylesia, that'd be a problem. Zargala would be helpful, account changing possibly. Daithi would be absolutely account changing. Some of these other champions are going to be possibly good for Mikage fusions as well, or other stuff as well. An Allure, absolutely account changing. Fat Man would probably be my ideal pick from down here if I had to pick one champion. I really would love a Fat Man. I think he would be absolutely amazing. And there's an offhand chance I get one of these legendaries. Any of these legendaries, any of them would help transform this account as well. But again, I give another problem. Suddenly I have too many legendaries to deal with. So how am I going to handle it? Well, ultimately, how am I going to handle it? It is going to be a matter of patience. I'm going to have to understand that there's always going to be the temptation to maybe spend just a little bit, get those few books there, spend just a little bit, get that energy there. Well, I'm a free-to-play account, so that's not an option here, at least for me normally. Now, if I was a normal player where I didn't care if I kept this free-to-play tag or not, you know what? Spending $10 here or $10 there, especially when you're getting something interesting, not too bad. I'm not going to tell you to not do it. I'm not going to tell you to do it. You can play this game however you want, and that includes how you use your wallet. But since I'm going to be doing this as a free-to-play, I need to marshal my resources better. So I'm keeping a decent amount of gems, and I'm going to try to focus on being able to save up to get masteries on a lot of these champions, because a lot of these champions are going to be worth getting masteries on and getting full masteries on. But also, I'm going to have to pick and choose which one is going to give me the most impact on my account in as many areas of the game as possible as I can deal with them. So that is why Mithrala is probably my number one option, because I think that she does stuff that I don't have done on my account otherwise. Otherwise, it might be Tholen. Tholen is actually still a very good damage dealer. Will certainly help me in Hydra, will help me in Arena as well. Probably will be useful for some wave clear, might help me in some other dungeons as well. But I think Mithrala is going to help me do things such as possibly help secure my Ice Golem team quite a bit, because she brings extra poisons. I think she will bring an improvement to my Dragon farming team, possibly even bring me to Dragon farming 10. She is actually one of the keys on a lot of the Dragon 10 teams I like to build, because she's got the cleanse and she uses the poisons and she's fairly tanky. To be fair, I'm not super worried about getting to hard Dragon 10, but that's still very useful. The Hex can be very useful as a debuff in Hydra, and so she has room in Hydra, plus with the cleanse, she can be very viable there. Plus with the increased defense and the increased attack, she can add extra damage as well as extra tankiness, can be very helpful there. Honestly, she might even be very useful in Clan Boss if I find out that I can build a Clan Boss team, because that's one of the things I do have to secure just a little bit better. My Clan Boss team could be better than it currently is, and, that's a thing I do need to pay attention to. So that's probably my plan, but it really is a matter of, keeping myself level-headed, making sure I don't go too far with spending resources. And again, that might even include holding some of these ancient shards to be able to complete other events with them. That said, I think that my account is possibly early enough that it might still make more sense to just pull all of these ancient shards. We might be talking 80 by the time we get there. Who knows? I'm earning these off and on here and there a while. I get about 2 or 3 of them a day at the rate that we're going. Not only just from Clan Boss, but from other things as well. So, we're going to make some decisions here, and it's the planning that we're going to do. And that's one of the things that I really wanted to share with you guys, that these are the type of things that you need to think about when you're running a free-to-play account. But honestly, you should think about it when you're running any account. You want to have an idea of some of the stuff that you're going to get, make some plans for it, and think about what resources you're going to spend where. Now, I could possibly look back on this and say, hey, maybe I shouldn't have spent as many books as I did booking up Cleopteryx. And to be fair, these are a lot of books that I will never get back on Cleopteryx. That said, she has still been very viable for me, and in fact, she has won me several live arena fights that I would have lost without having an extra damage dealer. So she is still a very solid damage dealer. I think she will actually end up being useful in Hydra. In fact, she was useful in Hydra when I ran her on one of my second teams. I actually managed to have my best second normal key team in Hydra, and actually managed to get the second to top chest on both the brutal chest, because this rotation's really bad for me to get the top chest. But I got the second from top chest on brutal, or hard, I should say, not brutal. And I got the second to top chest on normal, because I now have 2-ish decent Hydra teams. And that's something I need to expand on this account, because it is very, very important. So looking at these champs, looking at their impact on my account, and looking at the best way to continue to progress this account really is a never-ending struggle. So I'm about to get a bunch of really good tools that are dropping in my lap, and you know what? I certainly wouldn't mind some input from you guys on what I should do with them. Let me know what you would like to see. Let me know if there's some champion you think I should prioritize out of the 4 or 5 legendaries I've talked about that I'm going to be getting very soon. You know, let me know what you think of some of these decisions. Let me know how you handle when you've got multiple really good champions to upgrade, how you work on prioritizing them. Because I understand that that's actually some of the biggest advice that I have people ask me for, is which legendary or which epic or which champion should I build next on this account? And it is always a hard decision because Raid does make plenty of great champions, and sometimes there is the paralysis of choice. The good news is that even if you don't make the right choice for the best, if you're making a choice for somebody that is good for your account will progress regardless of which direction you go. So keep on having some fun, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You guys are absolutely amazing. And I realize I didn't actually do a lot of guides in this video, but hopefully this kind of brings you through some of the mental process of the way I treat all of my accounts, not just the free-to-play. So appreciate you guys. You have a wonderful day. And until the next video, I'm Bront CatHerder.